All right. Well, if you saw the video before this one, you know how this whole thing works. Speaker, shoulder button right here. Got the start select, APXY buttons right there. So I'm not gonna go over that again. This attaches kind of how you see on this side right here. It's going to plug into this main board through these holes here and here. So plug in that way, and I also made this little piece right here. And that's going to allow you to screw it in that way. So it's going to plug in this way and then screw in that way. And that should provide enough stability, I hope. I'm also going to add some of these holes somewhere in the middle here too, so it's got a more consistent connection across the seam. So, yep, you got that. If you saw the very first video, you know how this screen basically falls in place, and then it screws in at these four corners, right there, right there, right there, and right there. And what that looks like, actually turn around. Oh, that's unfortunate. What that looks like turn around is this. And so this side has got the D-pad, of course, instead of the buttons. It works in the same way as far as the backing. However, it looks something more like this. This was a bad print, but if you can imagine a half sphere on that side right there, and then that kind of sits on the board itself, and so you can roll it either forward. If you want to go left and up, you can do that as well, but you can't do 3 directions at once. You can't do 4 directions, just 1 or 2, which makes sense too, right? All right, so we got that. What else? All right, here. So this is the HDMI 90-degree ribbon cable right here. So this is going to plug in. You can see that it's going to plug in right in there on that thing. Cable loops over like so, and that's going to plug into this. This is the Banana Pi M5. It's pretty neat, pretty powerful for its size too. And what's kind of clever about my design, right? I'm a little biased saying that, I know, but I think it's kind of clever. Okay, first of all, this thing is going to attach to the backside, right? And then this whole thing will fall in place like so. And then it's going to connect via these these holes right here. So it's going to screw in 1, 2, 3, 4 times. I'll need to add a 5th one up here, but it's kind of crowded, so there's that. But yeah, what's neat about this, right? You can provide power to this through the primary, which is the USB-C, right? And everything's going to work fine, because the same thing that powers, it's going to connect via HDMI, is also going to connect for its power from the micro USB to the USB on the Pi board right here. So you can power it that way, or if you are more mobile, I got this UPS right here. Takes a couple of these 18650 batteries that I repurposed, let's call it. It's got that, so again, you got that switch, turn it off and on, so it should be able to directly take over if you want to unplug from here and have this already turned on before you do so. It should work out fine. It's got a USB even, and then it's charged via, I think it's like a barrel jack, maybe? I don't know, whatever charging port that is, it came with a cable for it, so it's fine. And then yeah, so again, you can charge it primarily through the USB-C, or you can provide power to the board via the pins. And so that's where this thing comes into play. All you gotta do is attach these 4 things to that. Now I'm not gonna have this thing sitting right on there, obviously. So I'm gonna unsolder these things, and I've got some lower gauge wire I'm going to use instead. And then I'll connect those to the pins. So in both situations, you should have power either way, which I think is kind of neat. What else? We got the audio amplifier right here, if you can see that. That'll sit somewhere below the board, either on the left, I forget, it's either left or right side, whichever it is, doesn't matter. And that'll connect out to the 2 speakers, here and here. And then kind of the last piece to all this, I think, and more or less last piece, is going to be this. Now, move this first. It's going to be this thing, which was at one point a USB joystick that I kind of took apart just to get to the board itself. And so these different spots right here, the silver points, as long as those are attached out to the pins right here, it's going to recognize the inputs as coming from the joystick, and then that connects via the USB. So I'm just gonna have to cut this. This thing is probably like 3 feet long. I'll cut it into probably like a 3 inches maybe. We'll see. I mean, it's only those. It's a USB, so it's just those 4 wires right there. That's all it is. So that shouldn't be too difficult. And then I've got some heat shrink tubing as well, just to make it look more professional, if you want to call it that. Yeah. I think that's it at this point. So